been working with a lot of plaids this week. I've been doing quite a few mini note cards and plaids, and I've also been cutting out lots of gift tags that have the plaid pattern on them. And then I had a request for some plaid journal cards. So I've cut these journal cards down to the size of 3 by 4, and then I decided that I wanted to add a little page tab to the top of these. And I had recently done a video where I made these journal cards with the little page tabs, and then they have the journaling spot here in the middle. So I wanted to do something just like that with these plaid ones. So here I've made up a bunch of these journal cards. So I thought since I'm working on these today, I'd turn the camera on in case you didn't see my last video on how I made these. And I'll just show again real quick how to make these. I've made the tops just a little bit different. I've used the craft cardstock for those, and I've shaded them. It's really the only difference, and then I used the different color of ink. So let me just do this real quick and show you what I've got for this. I've cut all my journal cards to the size of 3 by 4, and I've got another one here with the little fall orange color. And they've all been cut down to the 3 by 4 size. And then I've used my little corner rounder and gone around each edge and punched those out. For this middle part, we have two sizes of index cards. We have this jumbo one that measures 4 by 6 inch, and then there's kind of the standard size that's a 3 by 5 size. And I'm going to use the jumbo cards for that. And the reason being, on these journal cards, if I cut this down, that's going to have the journal spot on here be a lot smaller than I want it to be, and I like this size that's just a little bit longer. So I'm going to use the jumbo ones for these, and I can actually get 2 out of each one by the time I cut it down, because the size that I'm cutting my journal spots is going to be 2.5 inches by 3.5 inches. So here these are. And they've been cut down, and I don't think I'm going to round these. I kind of like the look of this when it's just the square ones, but of course you could round that too. And the last time I had used a lighter color ink on these other ones. Let me pull one back over here. I used a lighter color ink, and if you can tell, these on these plaid ones are just a little bit darker color. And the color that I'm using for that is the Tim Holtz Distress ink. And this is in the walnut stain. So I'm just going to use an old sponge and go around the edges real quickly. The sponge makes quick work of it for me. Okay, we'll set that to the side. This is just a really quick, simple project. So I am going to pull over, let's do this orangish colored one here for our fall, since it's nice fall themed. And I'm going to bring a glue sheet in here and flip that over, and then I'm just going to use my Elmer's glue. And we're going to put this on here. I'm going to saturate this pretty good. I don't want this to come off. And we'll just flip it over and put it right in the middle here. Have it centered up. There we go. And how I make the page tabs for these on this particular one is I'm going to use this page tab punch. I'll pop it open here. And this is one that you have to fold over. So since my paper has to be folded, I'm going to go ahead and do that with this. Just a small piece of craft paper that I've pulled out. It's craft cardstock, actually. And I'm going to give it a good little crease here. So I'm just going to flip this over. And you can see where it kind of hits up against there, so I know it's not crooked. And I just give it a little punch. And then while I have it here, I'm going to go ahead and do the rest of this. And I'll get 3 out of this little sheet that I have. Okay, and then I also like to come back over with my Distress ink, and we'll do the edge of this tab as well. I like how it kind of gives it that antique look. All right. Move that out of the way, move those. Clean my spot up a little bit. And now I'm ready to put this on. So what I want to show you before I put this tab on is on these tabs, if you can tell, sorry I've got such a shadow here today, but if you can tell, I've gone back and forth with them. So whenever I use this, I'll have some in the middle, some to the left, some to the right. So that way it's not just all in a row going through. So I think on this one, I'm actually just going to center this one up right in the middle. So I'm going to use the glue again. Of course you can, if you have a tape runner or even a wet glue works for this okay. But I think the Elmer's works pretty good. I'll put that right in the center. Press it good on both sides. And then that journal card is done. We'll add it to the pile. These are really nice to use in junk journals or scrapbooks. You could make these into recipe cards. Just so many ideas. So that's just another fun idea of a way to use a journal card. And I'm going to go back and work some more with all my fun plaids here. Fall time always has the desire for me to get these out and work with them. So I think that's all I have for this video, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching, everybody. Bye.